By now you're probably getting the message. Focus on what you have achieved. Give specific examples of what you have done. The language you use should go in the same direction. This means you should use action verbs. When possible, we want to answer the question, what specifically did you do? What was your contribution? What did you achieve? Your CV is not a summary of your job description. Rather, it's your track record. It tells the story of your accomplishments. So we'll want to avoid using generic lists of responsibilities, and we'll want to describe your specific contributions. Verbs like help, participate in, be a part of are quite passive and not very descriptive. They tell us little about the role you played. Instead, we'll want to use action verbs. Let's see some examples of what this looks like. Responsible for onboarding of new team members may be changed to designed onboarding process, enlisted trainers to deliver training sessions, and created a training calendar. Another example, in charge of quarterly reports, can be changed to gathered and analyzed sales data, wrote and presented quarterly reports. You can find a list of action verbs in the language sheet. They are divided into broad categories. That is, verbs that are related to leadership, to analysis, and other categories. Some verbs may be useful for different categories, and you can also add synonyms, tailor the list to your specific field. These are just suggestions to get you started. Finally, you may have noticed that we can drop the noun, the I, at the beginning of each sentence. Designed onboarding process. We can do this here because we typically use a schematic bullet point format for CVs. Of course, when we're speaking or writing incomplete sentences or in an email, we'll need to start with a noun. I designed the onboarding process. I gathered data and analyzed it. What about tenses? For the current position, use the present simple, as in, this is what I do. Let's see some examples. Coordinate international shipments. Optimize container capacity to reduce costs. You could also decide to use the present continuous for your current role, and this doesn't make a big difference. In this case, you could drop the I am at the beginning of the sentence and start with the main verb. Let's look at examples for that. Coordinating international shipments. Optimizing container capacity and reducing costs by 20% versus year prior. For past positions, we should use the simple past. Let's see some examples of this. Summarized user feedback and translated it into new functionalities. Developed a style guide for consistency across channels. So, to sum up, focus on your accomplishments, both in the content and in how you word it. Use the recommended verbs and examples in the language sheet for inspiration. You can adapt it for your own personal experience, of course.